How's it going, everybody? I'm Donovan and this is How to Happy. In this video, we're going to be talking about living your life with a few less luxuries. So I had a conversation with someone recently who by all accounts would be considered very wealthy. And as we talked, we somehow stumbled into the topic of them saying, if I lost all my wealth, I don't even know what I would do. I wouldn't know how to survive. And that got me thinking about how much of our luxuries do we really need? How bad would life be if we didn't have every single thing that we feel like we like and enjoy? How terrible would it be, and how likely would we be to recover and get back into a place where we would be fine? Now, on a purely philosophical level, I think most of us intuitively know, we don't need a ton of stuff. We don't want to be tied to materialism. But on that same note, there are definitely things that you can buy that make your life a little bit easier and a little bit more enjoyable. So the question is, where is the line, and how bad is it really to go without some of these luxuries? Now, this made me realize a good way that we can practice gratitude and strengthen our resolve to make sure our happiness is coming from an internal place instead of our external belongings is to think about reducing some of our luxuries for a set period of time. So for example, if you drink a coffee every morning, maybe for just a week or a couple days, try not having that luxury, right? Try cutting back on, going out to eat. Cut back on a few things that are luxuries just for a set period of time. And that way, when you go back to them, you'll have an increased gratitude for it, as well as you'll be able to experience what it's like to not have a couple things and see if it really impacts your happiness as much as you feel like it might. Obviously, you don't have to go crazy overboard with this and live in a park for a week or something like that, but reducing down some of your luxuries is going to help you be more grateful for what you have, as well as figure out what things you truly need to be happy. Now, I do a fairly similar exercise from time to time. It's a little bit more intense, but just to see what I value. So I will spend a week with as few luxuries as I possibly can, just to see, what it's like and where I'm at and what I really value. And if I need to start changing my thinking to move away from material things so that my happiness isn't dependent on something that could potentially be taken away at any time. Now, to be fair, this is not the same as just saying, hey, I just want to go live out in the wild in a tent and not have anything and never have any expensive experiences or do anything like that. Because I still like things that are luxuries. It's just that I don't want to tie my happiness into those things, because you potentially never know what could happen and your financial well-being could disappear at any time, forcing you to take cutbacks. So if your happiness is invested in your wealth, like the person that I was talking to at the beginning, the first example, then if they lose their wealth, they're going to be in a really, really bad place. But if your happiness is built through other processes, then you can just enjoy the luxuries that you have in addition to what you have already built for yourself, instead of running into some kind of personal mental ruin if you don't have any money. If you do try this exercise to any degree, one of the questions that I typically ask myself that has been helpful is, okay, I don't have X, but what can I do to still increase my happiness today, right? So that I can very intentionally move away from having these objects towards having happiness through some other process, and that allows me more flexibility. Again, like I said, if something were to happen and all of my finances were to disappear for some reason. If you give this exercise a try and you find it extremely difficult, it might be a sign to really think about where your happiness is being drawn from and alternatives that you can use to become equally happy. I know that I've been beating upon this a couple times, but it's just really dangerous to have your happiness invested in things that could potentially disappear at any point. Now, we don't expect them to, but when we scale this idea up that we're not invested in material things, right? You don't necessarily have to lose everything to really be in a place that you could be upset if you invest a lot in the things that you own. So for example, if you have a ton of value in, some object and someone steals it from your home, that's going to really, really impact you a lot more than if you're able to divorce yourself from these luxuries. So the reason to do this is not necessarily because we don't want to value anything, but it's so that in case these objects disappear, we have the resolve to continue to be happy anyway, because we can never really determine what's going to happen in the future with these objects. All we have control over is our own thoughts. Let's move on to the exercise section. Number 1, pick some luxuries you can shed for a week. 2, through the week, look for ways to keep your happiness just as high. Don't dwell on what you don't have, just look for ways to stay happy. 3, at the end of the week, spend some time writing down why you're grateful you have access to the luxuries you gave up. That's all I've got for this video, so as always, if you have any questions, comments, topics you want me to cover, throw them down in the box below, and I will see you next time.
You can check out more content at howtohappy.com. Also, don't forget to subscribe so you can stay up to date on the videos. We've also got a Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook that you can check out. Reflect, take action, and enjoy life. See you next time.